Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's time for Friday Night Football here on the 89.9 WZCO and the Columbus County Social Media Networks. To quote Gomer Pyle, surprise, surprise, surprise. I know we talked about last week that we were done with football broadcasts due to the state playoffs, but Kelly Jones, through his hard work, has got us on the radio. Hopefully this week and maybe next week if West Columbus survives and advances, and we'll see how East does tonight. But, Brett, it's time. Playoff football, win or go home, any cliche I can come up with, but, it's time to get that paycheck for a successful season.
Yeah, 1st of November, always first round of the playoffs, and I always can tell the first round of the playoffs by looking at the grass. When you start football, the grass is really, really green, and when you get into playoff time, you see it be a dull brown, and that dull brown tells you it's time to play first round playoff football.
Brett, you're looking at this game right now, and this does not feel like a fall evening. I mean, 70, 75 degrees out today, not a speck of wind. This doesn't – it looks like fall football, but it doesn't feel like fall football.
I was thinking the same thing, Kevin. I was going down the road today and looked on the thermometer on my car, and it said 82. And I'm like, my goodness, we're having a first-round playoff game tonight, and the high temperature is an 82 during the day. And then I noticed coming over here to West Columbus, they got a pretty good rain over here at West Columbus, and they're actually pretty lucky because everybody else is wanting rain and can't get it. And I noticed West Columbus had a good shower about an hour ago.
Kelly Jones told me it was a gully washer, and he would know because he was out in it.
Well, that he is a warrior, I tell you that. Me and you would have been under the umbrella, and we would have been watching him do what he was doing. But I was thinking about it tonight, Kevin. We got to man up our game tonight because there's no video. We don't have anything for people back home to look at, so we're going to have to do a little bit better and letting everybody know what's going on. And we're trying to work on getting some rosters right now, so we'll do the best we possibly can for you until these rosters arrive.
Yeah. Not exactly capacity crowd. A lot of things going on in Columbus County this weekend, Brett, but West Columbus faithful filing in, as are the faithful from South Creek. South Creek, again, about 200 miles or so to our west, had the usual travel that Columbus County has faced in past years. And long bus ride. Talk to us a little bit about taking that long bus ride and how it affects you when you get off that bus coming to play in a playoff game like this.
Well, it actually starts when you look at the bracket. You see that you're on what we call the bottom of that bracket, and the bottom of the bracket means that you're going to have to travel, and you have your fingers crossed that the place you got to go is less than an hour away. And when you see that matchup is about 2 hours away, maybe sometimes even 3 hours away, that wears on you even more. You've probably, if you're a player, you've probably slept on the bus for about 2 or 3 hours, and then you get up and you're just groggy. You got jet lag, or bus lag is what I think we call it.
West Columbus wins the toss and elects to receive. They'll be going from left to right, whereas South Creek's Cougars will be going from right to left. And, Brett, we're just a few minutes from getting this thing underway. And, again, you've been pointing towards this all year. You're in a tough 2A conference. And right now, everybody's equal. Everybody's 0-0. And we're looking forward to a great football game here tonight in Cerro Gordo.
Yeah, West Columbus has been battle-tested. They, like you said, they're in a 1A, 2A split. And playing those 2A teams gets you ready for the 1A playoffs. And, if you're a betting person or whatever, you probably got your money on the Vikings tonight here in Cerro Gordo. Anything can happen, but, that's what it looks like.
Don't let records deceive you. The South Creek team plays in a tough conference, Brett. They play Tarboro and some of these, tougher schools in that area. And it's just, again, they're in the lower half of the split conference, and they play some pretty tough opponents. And here come the Vikings.
Running out with their flag, leading their troops to the sideline.
There's a lot of smoke there, Brett. I hope the sausage dogs ain't on fire.
Yeah, well, I saw a Facebook post coming up here that I think they had a steak dinner before the game. So
they are selling some steaks and some pork chops there. So we will definitely – I don't know if imbibing is the best word at halftime, but we'll definitely be partaking of the sumptuous feast as we get ready for Thanksgiving.
Well, I went to go get two – well, I went to get a sausage dog, and I heard you say that you had two, so I got it in my mind that I was going to get two. And then he said $6, and I said, let's just knock it down to one. I'll eat some sketty and meatballs when I get to the house. But here we go. Referee's Officials come to the sidelines, getting the teams ready.
Once again, Brett, these crews are not usual crews that work together. These are kind of all-star crews.
Yep.
So, and interesting to see how the teamwork is on the officiating, but these are supposed to be your better officials as judged by their peers and their assigners during the course of the school year.
Right. The guy that is on this sideline, the side judge, he is usually a white hat for a lot of the groups in Columbus County, and so he's working the sidelines here. Bobby Godwin's calling me. Hold on.
The Godwin hotline calls Brett Burris. He'll take a step off while we get ready to tow this thing up. West Columbus with that strong kicker. Yeah, we've seen a lot of short kickoffs this year, Brett, but I have a feeling he's going to tow this one deep.
Well,
actually, I take that back. West Columbus will be kicking off, not receiving to start the ball game.
And West Columbus kicker has been, I think Strickland's been really good all year, and he usually boots the thing down there about the 10-yard line each time. So look for them to pin these Cougars deep. There you go.
The kickoff goes all the way to about the 15. South Creek will take it there. Can take it up the right-hand side. He'll get to about the 31-32 before he's upended by a host. A boatload of Vikings. Not a shipload, a boatload.
That's right, boatload. We made sure we got that right just to make sure everybody was listening out there. But the South Creek Cougars will take over from their own 32-yard line and going against that big, stout defensive line of West Columbus.
I don't know what they're feeding them here in Sarah Gorda. Might be that steak dinner, but those boys look fed well and look hungry right now.
And strong. I'm sure their weight program over here is really, really good. They get strong. And that is that's the heart of West Columbus there, their defense and that defensive line. So, I have no idea what this South Creek offense is. They may throw it, they may run it, but if they try to run the ball, it's going to be tough on them tonight.
Interesting alignment for West Columbus. Right now they've got 9 people within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
They must be expecting a
backfield.
Run. Straight give
and straight backward for about a 4-yard loss. It'll be second and about 13-14.
Yeah. West Columbus got a big push on that defensive line there and bottled it up, and South Creek thrown for a loss.
Gives them poor progress. Actually back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second and 10.
All right.
Once again, South Creek moving from right to left. The West Columbus defense going from left to right. Second and 10 for the Cougars. And as advertised, the big South Creek defense, the big West Columbus defensive line stout on the first play. Backfield. Hand off to the fullback. He'll drive forward for maybe a half a yard or a yard, and it'll be third and long for the Cougars.
And that fullback for South Creek, he's only getting about a 1.5 yard drop, so they're not getting them back the usual 3 behind there. And he's a big boy. He looks over here at least 250, so he's going to be a bowling ball coming through that center.
The old Ron Dane-esque, if you're a New York Giant fan or a Wisconsin fan.
Yep.
Third and long for the Cougars. Ball still in about between the 32 and the 33.
3rd and 10.
Cougar offense needs to stay on the field because the West Columbus, backs have been stout all season. Motion back to the left. Inside counter. Pick up maybe another yard, and it'll be 4th and long.
Was that a counter, or was that just a quarterback keep to the left side? Did he hand it off?
Honestly, there's so much misdirection there, I couldn't tell.
I don't think the quarterback handed it off there. He did gain 2 yards, but it's going to be 4th and about 8 for the Cougars.
West Columbus not setting a wholesale substitutions, but I guess punt team on.
Yeah. Single setback for West Columbus.
One man deep spotted about the 40 of West. Looks like West will have good.
That's got to be motion on the Cougars. Right end over there pulled up a little bit too early there, Kevin.
Unfortunately, if you're with South Creek, Brett, you're in the lower end of a bracket. You've got a stout team with a lot of speed.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is keep that West Columbus offense off the field, and right now you're just going backward.
Yeah, well, this defense is coming right in your face. They're lining up right on top of all these linemen, and, they're just flinching a little bit.
High snap, and it is almost blocked.
Wow.
Peter call, and
Wow.
the ball goes out of bounds.
I thought he was kicking it to you, Kevin.
Let me get it, Mom. I'm
So
open.
that was probably about a
punt was-
4-yard punt.
The punt was from the 26
Okay.
and went to the 34, so about an 8-yard punt.
8-yard punt. Okay. And what happened? He was scared of that pressure was coming at him, and he was lucky he actually got the ball off there, Kevin. So
Yeah.
West Columbus going to take over in great field position.
High snap, definitely doomed that thing. And West Columbus with great field possession on the South Creek 34. Looks like Edie back to take the snap.
I think that left.
I'm pretty sure it's a
End
South
over
Creek
there.
offside there.
I don't know. Yeah, it was okay. All right, but that left end over there for West Columbus jumped. I think after the South Creek kid came across.
South Creek young man was about to shake hands with the quarterback. Hand off up the middle. He goes off to the left-hand
He's all
side
the way. He's
to
going.
the end zone.
Going
34-yard touchdown for West Columbus, and it's 6-0 Vikings early.
23. Will you remember his name, Kevin? Is that Edie?
I believe that's Edie.
Okay, yeah, Edie with the touchdown, untouched. Off that left side, goes in for the quick touchdown for the Vikings.
9:14 to go here in the first quarter. Vikings up 6-0.
Well, that's what you want to do if you're the home faithful there is get on the board with one play. Strickland back to kick. He's done a really good job this year lining up to kick extra points. It's going to be close.
He's up. And it is
Good.
Our score with 9:14 to go here in the first quarter. West Columbus 7, South Creek the Cougars nothing. And Brett, as advertised, cat quick West Columbus offense strikes and strikes quickly.
Yeah, was that a flag over there on the other side? Run into the kicker. That's running into the kicker. They declined that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we know that West Columbus can explode and score points quick and fast. And you see right there, or you heard right there if you're on the radio, you heard right there that West Columbus, one play, touchdown from about the 33-yard line.
Brett, talk to us a little bit about, you've had a 2-hour bus ride, you get off the bus, rough first series, and all of a sudden you're down 7-0 before you can turn your hat.
Well, you got to think about it. I'm sure there's a lot of kids on this team that's seniors, and they were probably excited that they made the playoffs. But, I think West Columbus comes in at like a number 4 seed, I think, something
4 or
like that.
5.
4 or 5. And so that means you're playing like a number, 28 seed or something like that. So, the deck is stacked against this South Creek team. But, let's hope they can come back and make this a game and come back and score. Strickland back to kick again. Again, probably trying to go deep. A little shorter this time, going to be fielded up about the 25. Kevin.
Off the bounce, taking it to 25, all the way to the 30, upended about the 33-yard line, where Cougars will set up 1st and 10.
I think that's about exactly where they took over the last time, ain't it, Kevin?
I think it is.
You have to excuse me if I cough into the mic. I've had a little cough today. I don't know why, but just forgive me if you hear me up here hacking. There's nobody else up here with us, so I won't give anything to anybody. Just be you, Kevin.
Or so they tell me.
I heard Richard Gore got you some lunch the other day.
Actually, I think it was dinner, but I do appreciate
Okay.
Richard. Richard's
Okay.
out there listening to us.
Yeah.
Richard, stand-up fellow. We've known him for a number of years. Great supporter of Columbus County Athletics.
Yeah.
I backfield, once again, handoff to the right-hand side this time.
Nothing
Stacked up
doing
at the
there.
line of scrimmage.
Nothing doing there again, Kevin. Looks like it's going to be about a loss of about half a yard. And I'm going to tell you, when you saw film in West Columbus, you probably saw that, hey, it's going to be tough to run against these boys. It's going to be tough to run up the middle. And you've already seen on the first couple of series is that nothing doing with the running game for these Cougars.
2nd and 11 for the Cougars. 8:38 to go here in the first quarter. And, again, if the best way to beat a West Columbus offense right now is to keep your offense on the field.
You want that? You got it. Okay. Yeah, just South Creek's got to find something to do to try to get this ball moving. You know, they've ran the ball left, right, but I don't know what kind of passing game they've got, but you're going to try to have to open it up somehow. There's that quarterback stepping out. Nothing doing there either, Kevin. They drug it. West Columbus drug it out to the sidelines and made a good stop there. Just like quarterback draw there to the left side. And I think that's exactly what they did the time me and you were talking before. They did that quarterback draw, but where he this time ran to the outside. The time before that, the kid took it up the middle. But 3 plays, -3 yards. So as a team so far tonight, they're 2 series and -4 yards rushing.
Hard to see these South Creek numbers, Brad. I've actually pulled up South Creek on Max Preps, but
I'm not even going to try, Kevin.
I'm looking at the numbers and it's blending in with the camouflage.
Yeah. Reminds me of a team.
Rolls out to the right, Brett. Drops back to pass. Overshoots his receiver. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah.
4th and 12 for the Cougars.
Reminds me of another South I know that you can't read their numbers on their jerseys. Not going to call any names, but
Ain't going to cast aspersions, but if you watch us regularly, we've talked about this many, many, many times.
yeah.
7:18 to go, 7:19 to go here in the first quarter. West up by 7, about to get the football back. Let's see if we can improve upon that 8-yard punt average. Is it just because that punter awful deep, Brett?
Well, you're supposed to be about 11 yards, and it looks like he's about 14.
High snap. Corralled and blocked.
No, I don't think he improved on that, Kevin. I think it may be maybe 4 yards this time. Well, no, 5, 6. So about a 6-yard average for the 2 punts that he has. And listen, that's nothing on the punter. Just the long snap is not getting there crisp and long enough, and it's giving the West Columbus Vikings a lot of time to get to the ball. And West Columbus is going to take over again from the same exact place they were at last time. Let's see if they give it to Edey going around the left side again. Deja vu.
Deja vu all over again.
He's going to the right side this time. And it's going to be close.
Did he get into the end zone? Yep. That is a 30-yard touchdown for number 7. Not number 7, number. Wish I could tell you, folks.
You may make the.
That's South Creek we're looking at right there.
Oh, it is? Okay. All right. My fault. We're trying to get. There we go. There's West Columbus. Hey, technology we're trying to work with. Oh, the fumble.
Fumble on the snap.
2. I'm trying to. Okay, he didn't get in the first time.
Did not get in.
Did not get in. See, I thought they were going for 2 there, but they denied him getting into the end zone on that last touchdown. So it remains 7-0, and West Columbus just fumbled on their own about 2-yard line.
Unique Kelly on the carry for West Columbus got it to about the 1, maybe a half-yard line. Fumble on the second play.
And Coach Williamson, I'm sure, is not going to be happy about that.
Lamont Williams, I mean, he hates stuff like that. Speaking of which, I did see Wayne Williamson, who did say that he loved to give you a hard time, and he'll probably be up around halftime to say hi.
I've actually already talked to Coach Williamson. He's told me how great of a job that I've done up here, and he loves listening to me and you on Friday nights.
I actually heard that a couple times. It's nice to know folks are out there watching and listening to us. And, we appreciate you. We'll talk to you a little bit more about basketball. We got Franklin Davis on at halftime. Yeah.
West Columbus really wants this safety here. That's what they're trying to get.
But I'll tell you, credit these kids from South Creek. They're fighting. Still only down 7-0. A second and about maybe 9 3/4 with 6:28 to go here in the first quarter.
And these referees are going to give them the forward progress to get them out of the end zone as much as possible. And South Creek's got a kid coming over to the sidelines hobbling a little bit. Looks like they're fullback there, Kevin.
I was talking to their coaching staff, before the ball game, and they play a tough schedule. They play the Tarboroughs of the world up in their conference, and they had about 3 or 4 get hurt last week, and struggling with numbers, that certainly didn't help playing in that tough conference.
If they play Tarboro, they're stout.
Backside counter, takes a dive up the middle.
Did he get out of the end zone?
Maybe picks up a yard or 2.
They're going to get him out of the end zone. Speaking of Tarboro, I had the opportunity to be at the game where South Columbus played Tarboro, and a guy named Todd Gurley was the running back for them.
Still a question, Brett. You and I were there with Eddie Beck and a few others, and still debatable, Brett.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah, on that knee.
Yeah.
On that. Looks like we've had a turnover, Brett, because they're giving West Columbus the football, first and goal.
Oh, really? Okay, he may have taken it out of his hands or something. I didn't see a fumble, but they may have taken the ball out of the kid's hands right there at the 1 yard line.
Strange turn of events without a real clear indication, Brett, but we got a change of possession. West Columbus has got the football and about the 2.
And that's got to be what it is, Kevin. Oh, nice play.
Inside-out play by,
Wow.
looks like the outside linebacker or defensive end for South Creek, and he'll take him for about a 3-yard loss. It'll be second down and probably a loss of 2, so second down and goal from the 3.
Yeah, not to question anything, but, you're on the half-yard line, first and goal. I mean, I'm running the ball straight up the middle.
Especially with the size of that West Columbus offensive line.
This team hadn't stopped me all night, so I'm taking that ball up the middle there. But, hey, maybe they saw something that we didn't see. There we go, up the middle that time.
And that time,
He's
I
in
believe
there.
Cameron Eady is in for the touchdown. West Columbus picks up 6 more for to make it a 5:09 with 5:09 to go. 13-0 our score. I think West Columbus, did they go for 2 here, Brad? They tried the first time.
No, they didn't try it because there was a
first.
turnover. Yeah. They're going to kick it. I mean, you're not chasing points here any at all, and the card that everybody says tells you to go for 1 right here.
What is that? The sports metrics card?
I don't know what it is. Everybody says you got to go by the card, and I'm like, I'm not that good.
Did you ever have a card, Brett?
No. I'm not that good in math, as you know, Kevin. We've discussed that several times, but
The gazintas always got to me.
Yep. Up.
Now that's a high snap.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristics of West Columbus there. Long snap goes over the head of the holder, and it's going to stay 13-0 West Columbus.
5:09 to go in the first. West Columbus up by 2 scores, Brett. And the way the game is going the way West Columbus wants to, but I'm sure Lamont Williams, is going to say, guys, this is not what we need if we're going to play quality football and go deep into these playoffs.
Yeah.
These mental mistakes are going to hurt us the more we play these quality teams.
Well, let's talk about this too, Kevin. We talked about what this South Creek team was expecting. Now we can go back to what West Columbus was expecting. When you see a team that you're playing in the playoffs and they don't have any wins, it's very easy to look past a first-round game when you see stuff like that. So that's probably, in the heads of the West Columbus players here that this team hasn't won a game and we've got this game. But, hey, it still made the playoffs, so you still got to be ready. And, doing mental mistakes like that will cost you, as you say, deep in the playoffs.
Very easy to get complacent.
Next Friday, Veterans Day?
Next Friday is Veterans Day. No school, but hopefully we'll have a second-round playoff game. If Kelly Jones is listening, I'm sure Brett and I would love to do it.
Okay.
Ball taken at about the 15. He'll take it up the middle. There's a hole. Upended.
Did he fumble?
Fumble on the
I think he
floor.
fumbled.
And there is a scrum for the play.
I think he fumbled while in the air, and then they recovered. So that would have been awesome to see a replay of that because he went flying, and the ball just fell out and landed in.
I saw a hit like that
teammates'
last week in the Cowboys game, Brett. I mean, literally up in the air and.
Was that a Pee Wee League team?
Not this year. Definitely not this year.
I'm joking with you, man.
I'm a big Cowboys fan. Don't hold it against me. Carolina seems to be playing a little bit better. Tough beat last week.
Yeah.
I was
celebration.
I was enjoying a sumptuous feast at a local eatery, and was with a couple of friends who were Carolina fans. I also enjoy Carolina, but celebration penalty cost them the game, and then
Yes, it
the
did.
second kick in overtime.
Yep, it sure did. It sure did, and it was uncalled for, and I'm sure he apologized greatly for that. Straight give up the middle again for South Creek. Looks like they gained about 1 yard this time.
Brett, here's an interesting connection if you want to make it.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, we had the game over at South Columbus. Player with the ball up in the air gets called for the celebration penalty.
Yep, remember that.
And it's easy to see where these kids are learning it from.
Yeah, definitely.
And why it's so important to teach it at this age. You know,
Yeah, and high school sports are not going to allow you to taunt or bring attention to yourself in any way and excessive celebration. And they did a good job with that call. South Creek's running on a player here. Didn't have enough men on the line.
Second and 9 out of the eye. Motion to the right. Toss right.
Oof.
Barely corralled by
It
the
hit
motion
the elbow on the fullback.
who was in motion at the point, and I think he had to go around his lineman to get to the back and threw that kind of thing all out of whack. And we got 3rd and 14 with 3:52 to go here in the first.
The fullback had to be lined up on the wrong side. I mean, because he was just in the way of that pitch, or he didn't go do what he's supposed to do. Maybe he was supposed to block and decide to sit there and count his change. Who knows?
3rd and long once again. It seems like we spent the entire first quarter in the on the side of the field of the Cougars.
Yeah, this 30 and 40 here is going to be wore out.
Well trodden. Once
Nice
again,
word.
working on my word power.
Well trodden.
Left side handoff to the right-hand side. Gets maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be 4th and 10.
So I'm not big on stats, but I'll go ahead and tell you that South Creek probably has in 3 possessions negative 4 or 5 yards right now rushing.
And again, it's a tough draw, when you come in. I mean, and I know, you can say the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, trying to make money gets a lot of folks in, but it's a tough draw when you're 0-10, you're outmanned, and you're traveling 200 miles to face a tough team.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of going to a 32-team playoff and just cutting it in half, because some of these teams probably don't deserve to go to the playoffs as I used to know it.
4th and 11 goes around the right-hand side. Does not get first down yardage, Brett, but I think they finally gave up on the punt.
He got popped.
He got popped, and he got decent yardage, but he didn't get a first down. And the Vikings will take over 1st and 10.
Well, that's their biggest play of the night, Kevin.
Yep.
I mean, right there, they gained about 6 yards. Biggest play of the night for them. They didn't call a penalty on that hit, did they?
Nope. Viking offense takes the field 1st and 10 on about the Cougar 43.
Have you ever seen the replay or the play about the college official that called the flag and he said number 42 was giving him the business? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think that's what he did.
Yeah. That's a classic call.
Trips right for the Vikings, back to pass. It's up. He's
Got
got a
him.
man wide open, and he is in for the touchdown.
It's a really nice pass there.
Sweet pass for the Vikings from the 43, and the Vikings go up 19-0 with 1:33 to go here in the first.
Sometimes you always talk about time of possession. Whoever's got the most time of possession is probably one that's going to win the game. I promise you, West Columbus probably has about 1.5 minutes of possession, and South Creek probably has the other 10.5, and you can see what the score is. So that just throws that out with a kitchen sink.
West Columbus back to kick it once again, already up 19 with 1:33 to go. And Brett, as advertised, West up early.
Yeah, and, I was not going to say afraid of this, but I knew this was probably going,
Kick is up,
is it no good?
and it is
No good, yeah.
no good.
But South Creek got a lot of penetration there and put a lot of pressure on the kicker there.
Congrats these South Creek kids, Brett. They're up against it. They're outmanned. They're coming a ways away. They drew a tough seed. But these kids are playing hard, and, I'll see them hanging their heads. They're hustling. They're giving their best. So, let's give a shout-out to these South Creek kids that were they know this is going to be a tough road to hoe, but, they're giving it everything they got.
Listen, Kevin, you love to win. You really do. But what you remember years after years is the fun you had and what you did. I don't remember the records of basketball games or baseball games that I had. I remember the fun that I had, and that's what it's all about.
Was that before or after you started breaking clipboards?
That was before I started breaking clipboards. That was a tough time in my life, breaking clipboards. That was back when I had a little bit more gumption than what I do now. South Brunswick Knights. Yeah.
As I recall, we used to have a clipboard watch on Brett back in the day.
Yep. I busted a couple. And, I was reading an article of one of my games years back, and we were playing West Bladen, and we were down by 7, and the papers were saying this, and I got a technical foul. We went on a 17-0 run and won the game. Sometimes you just do it to get your kids going.
Got to do what you got to do,
That's
absolutely.
Right. That's right. That's part of everything has a purpose. That's what I tell everybody. Everything
West
has a
Columbus
purpose.
about to tee it up from the 40. Still going from left to right. Deep kick rolls to about the 10 before it's taken there. Up, ended on about the 12 or 13. And West Columbus once again, setting themselves up nicely on defense with a deep kick. And South Creek starting deep in their own territory.
One thing that I'm seeing from this West Columbus team tonight is that they're being really aggressive with their tackling. I've watched them 2 or 3 times this year, and they're hitting it harder tonight than I have seen them hit in any game of the year.
Hard not to get up for these ball games, isn't it, Brett, for a high school kid?
Yeah, I mean, you got the community talking about you made it to the playoffs, and you've had probably one of the best years you've had in the last 10 or 15 years, and these kids are feeding off of it. They love it, and they want to come out and show that they deserve to be here.
Last year, Brett, West Columbus gets into the playoffs for the first time in a number of years, defeats Bertie in the first round, gets to the second round, has to go on the road, and unfortunately their season ended there. I think the question is, are you ready to take that next step? Because if you win tonight, you get another home game.
Yeah, and
backside counter up to the left-hand side picks up good yardage, and it'll be second down and about.
Most of the time in high school football, when in the first round, you a lot of times probably know who's going to come out ahead on those, unless you get in that 13-14 or whatever going against each other. But
best play offensively for Southside, Brett. Picks up 5 yards. It'll be second and 5 with just over a minute here to go in the first.
And if any of my friends or whatever, if they're listening, if anybody knows a Whiteville score or a East Columbus score, please text me, let me know. I'd love to know and broadcast on who's winning those games.
High pitch, Corral off to the right-hand side, stood up at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be third down. That will probably be, if not. And we got an extra flag here, Brett, for a little extracurricular activity.
And I wasn't watching, so I can't tell you who I think it was, but I'm sure they're ironing it out.
I'm watching the South Creek folks walking backwards, so I'm guessing it's against them. No.
It's against somebody. And the officials talking to the captain of the West Columbus team and tell them let's chill. Yeah, it's going to be on South Creek there.
How much of that is frustration, Brett?
Well, a lot of it is because I'm sure that there's, like I said earlier, there's some seniors out there that knows probably this is going to be their last football game, and they're probably down deep a little bit upset that's coming to an end. The worst night of your career is your last night. And because most of the time, the last game of the year you lose. Last game of the year you lose. So, but South Creek, third and about 15 from their own 20 to their own 10-yard line. Straight give, counter, up the middle. West Columbus clogs it up again.
And we have a stoppage for
another
flag.
Okay, Coach is probably going to have to step in right here and talk to his troops out there because it's getting a little chippy. And really, this isn't a rivalry game, so I don't really understand why there's that much chippiness going on unless, like I said, this is probably going to be your last game. The White Hat's walking over to the head coach of South Creek.
Hate to see this in any level, in any game, Brett, but, again, part of what high school sports is about was, revealing character, and, part of that is keeping your composure.
That could possibly be 2 personal fouls on the same kid there back-to-back. So if that's true, then he will be disqualified. Am I correct, Kevin?
That is correct.
Like I said, I don't know. We've got a kid walking to the sideline here. I don't know if that could possibly be what it is or whatever. But we'll hash it out. We're used to these long pauses on personal fouls, aren't we?
I've been told the comedy is, really fun when we get the opportunity, Brett. So I'm sure we'll get a few opportunities to do
Well,
that.
that's why I'm hoping it's going to be a good game so people back home don't have to listen to mine and your conversations that we're having.
Franklin Davis, who's our our halftime guest, has told us how much he enjoys our storytelling.
So he is going to be here then?
He is going to be here.
Okay.
He has actually contacted me.
Okay. Well, I don't see the red carpet anywhere.
Apparently, this one is against West Columbus because they're marching at 15
Oh,
yards
really?
the other direction.
Okay.
I think they're talking to both teams right now, Brett, about keeping the mouths to themselves.
That just could have been a reprisal. You like that word?
Reprisal.
Reprisal to the first personal foul. So
And then we walked it back,
it's offsetting, but favors South Creek.
which picks up 4 or 5 yards on the play.
And
I don't know how you enforced that, Brett. That looked like about an 8-yard penalty.
well, you went the full 15 against
That
West
way.
Columbus, then you did half the
The
distance back toward the goal line.
So in that
South
vein,
Creek.
they gain 6 yards.
Might have been a called play. You never know.
Looks like we got just enough time to get to the
And
line
it
of
stayed-
scrimmage.
Okay,
and
now personal
and-
fouls, are they automatic first downs?
now if they're offsetting.
Okay, all right.
That's the end of one, Brett. The score 19-0 in favor of the Vikings. We'll take a quick timeout for some commercials, and we'll be right back on the 89.9 WZCO. Actually, on second thought, Brett, since I don't know which one, which number the commercials are on, we're just going to keep it going.
All right, sounds good. You want me to do a commercial for you? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. There we go.
Let's see if we get another one. I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Yeah, I went and saw the Oscar Mayer truck this year, as a matter of
I
fact.
actually have that picture, Brett.
Do you? Cool.
Now,
I give-
unfortunately, this is radio, so I can't really show it, but what you going to do?
I can give a shout out to my church, Cherry Grove Church. Come see us on Sunday mornings.
Let's give a shout out to Columbus Career and College Academy for allowing us to broadcast. They're actually having their homecoming dance tonight, Brett, and they had their first homecoming court in school history tonight.
Okay, cool, awesome. And I think South Columbus has their little semi-formal tonight in Tabor
If you were
Center.
at the Stallion Classic and you saw South Columbus perform at the end, Brett, I actually was doing the public address on that, and we actually had a scene where the drum major asked out one of the band members to semi, and they had me do it on a bandgram.
Really? The
Very exciting.
You talking about Colt, the one that does the leading and stuff
Yeah.
for South Columbus? Yeah, Colt. He's in my current events class, senior current events class. He actually killed his first deer the other night with a truck.
Well, hopefully he hosted out before he picked her up with semi, Brett. I mean, really.
Yeah, I told him. I said, I've killed one deer in my life too. It was with a Columbus County activity bus. He was an 8-pointer, and he ran into the back of the
Brett,
back of the
you know
bus.
there are some Columbus County Schools Board of Education members listening. I don't know if I'd be advertising that.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I didn't make him jump out in front of him. That was years ago. But
Well, did he commit suicide, Brett?
I didn't. I just kept on rolling, baby.
Third down picks up maybe another yard before we have, not much happening on the offense for South Creek, and it'll be, looks like third down. Third or fourth down.
Yeah, talked with Ronnie Strickland a while ago. He was one of our board members is here supporting West Columbus. He said he's going to come by and see us at halftime, so hopefully he's got some good things to say.
Looks like fourth down and about 9 for West Columbus. We have a quick timeout. And again, Brett, talk a little bit about what's coming up. We have second round playoff games, hopefully for East, West, and Whiteville. We have basketball coming up next month, Brett. And talk to us a little bit about, we have, basketball games starting in December.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about playoff football and preseason basketball and how that coexists.
Well, I'm going to tell you, one of my good buddies, Bryant Edwards, is the head coach at Lumberton. I know I'm
Former state champion coach.
I know I'm going outside the county, but he has a scrimmage game tonight in Fayetteville. And they're playing against, I think they got like 3 7-foot kids or whatever. But I asked him, I said, how many of your players play football? And he said about 5. Luckily for him and bad for the football team, Lumberton didn't win any games, so therefore they didn't go to the playoffs. So it's going to be easy on him. But if you take like a West Columbus here, and these guys possibly, 2, 3, 4 rounds in the playoffs and hopefully more, a lot of those kids out there walking on that field right now play some basketball. So it's going to put, the basketball program behind the 8-ball, But Coach Williamson coaches the basketball. So he's probably going to have to do some double duty here pretty soon. Let's practice football, and then when we get done, we'll practice some basketball.
4th down and about 9 for the Cougars, Brett. West Columbus setting up their punt returner on the 35 of South Creek. Ball gets off.
It's a better punt.
Decent punt, rolls off to the right at about the 25 or between the 20 and 25 of South Creek, and West Columbus once again set up deep in South Creek territory.
That ball hit the ground and just did a total reversal back to the sideline and goes backwards about 8 yards.
Not to cast aspersions, Brett, but it looks like your golf shot.
I've seen a lot of those, to tell you the truth.
Although I did hear a story today. Bobby Godwin was telling me he had a par 5 and he hit one over the dog leg about 300, 350 yards. Now, how much of that you can believe?
That's Bobby
You have
Godwin
to ask Bobby
telling you
Godwin.
that now. That's Bobby Godwin telling you.
He said he hit it over the dog leg.
I didn't know Bobby played golf. I just thought he did.
He says he's in the tournament tomorrow.
Okay. I just thought he did pressure
First
washing
and 10
and all kinds of
Vikings
stuff.
off to the left-hand side. Slips a tackle. He's around the corner, and he is into the end zone. 20-yard touchdown for West Columbus.
You just got to give them the ball one time, Kevin. They're going to score.
Cameron Eady with the touchdown. I mean, not a lot going right for South Creek right now. Those kids are playing hard. It's just West Columbus can hit you from so many different directions, Brett.
Shout out to Hunter Kelly. She's asking me if she can watch it video, and I told her not tonight, just audio. So in case anybody's looking for it, video, there is no video tonight. You just stuck with us.
Explain to them the reason behind that, Brett, while we watch the extra point.
Okay, so in the state of North Carolina High School Athletic Association charges to video the
Kick is up.
playoffs.
And it is good.
You can audio it, but you got to pay money to, video. And I guess that's to encourage people to come to the games instead of staying at home and watching it. But it is a fee by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Not that I necessarily made that decision or agree with it, but that's what it is. So that's where we're at.
11:17 to go here in the first half, Brett. West Columbus up by 26. And again, got to be thankful for the great folks at CCCA and Columbus County Schools wanting for you to have an opportunity in the community, if you can't make it out tonight, to be able to follow your local high school teams and really support them. Again, Hunter Kelly, we really appreciate you checking in with us.
And Worley Edwards, I talked to him on the way over here. He wanted me to text him scores, so I'm going to text Worley Edwards some scores. He's actually at Fayetteville watching some basketball tonight. Usually he would have been over here. He's a big West Columbus Fayetteville used to be principal here. That's why he has the ties over here, but I'm going to
Gotta love the fact you see a lot of board members and central office personnel at these ball games on Friday nights, Brett. Give a shout-out to Kathy Lewis, retiring next month. Great supporter of West Columbus. I see Jonathan Williams at a lot of South and West ball games. West Columbus looks to tee it up once again. This time going from right to left, as South Creek will now be moving from left to right.
And our old buddy Wendell Duncan's checking in with us and telling us how good we're doing, and he does a great job over there at Williams Township as principal. He has 2 of my children and my wife over there, so he keeps my girl straight.
He's okay.
Yeah, he keeps my girl straight. And
Kickoff taken up the middle. He's going to be dropped right about the 30-yard line. Well, South Creek will take over 1st and 10 with 11-12 to go here in the first half.
And it seems like that's where they take over about every time. They, get it to about the 30, and, they hadn't had really good drives to get them any more yards, but
probably the best field position to start for them. We're pretty close to it.
Yeah, we'll see what they got here, see if they can change up some stuff to get this ball rolling a little bit, because as you can tell, you give the ball back to West Columbus, it looks like they're going to put it in the end zone 1 or 2 plays.
Again, important for West Columbus, Brett, A, at this point to stay healthy, and B, to get some playoff experience for some of those guys you may need down the road.
All right, South Creek takes over 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. And this end of it here was wide open. Nobody was covering him, and he was patting his head on the top and say, hey, give it to me and stuff like that, but the quarterback didn't see him.
Again, picks up at least, forward progress will give him about a 2.5, 3 yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 8 on about the 30-yard line. Got Whiteville Southwest Onslow scores 6-3 with 3:29 to go left in the first half. Once again, so 6-3 in favor of Whiteville. Give a shout out to Phil Ray listening to us tonight. Said it's sounding good. Phil Ray over, big, long time promoter of South Columbus, does a great job with the PA over there.
Voice of the Stallions.
Rolls out to his right. Goes right back to that receiver. Had him open again once again, Brett. Just overshoots him, and it'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, when you got those pads on, Kevin, it's hard to get your hands up perpendicular, and that's tough for number 8 there to go up and get that ball. It should have been hit him right there in the numbers, but didn't. And good opportunity for South Creek there, but it goes through the fingers.
3rd and about 8 for the Cougars. And, again, Brett, he is open. It's just a matter of hitting him. So 3rd and 8, not a lot going right, 10-16 to go here in the first half. Talk to us a little bit about maybe getting some kids in the second half, Brett, who need to get that playing opportunity, whose name might get called, in a situation where you're 2nd, 3rd round and somebody gets hurt and you need to step up.
Right. You look over there on the West Columbus sideline, you see about maybe 20, 25 more kids over there on the sidelines. And they're
deep throw.
Got it.
And caught by the South Creek Cougars on about the West Columbus 35. I mean,
that was a Hail Mary to the 40.
And I'm going to tell you something, Brett. That was the first. That was a rainbow. That thing went up high and came down.
Yeah, just the West Columbus defender there ran actually by the play and didn't break down. And
what was it? Was it underthrown or just was that the way it was supposed to be?
Well, I'm assuming that he would have probably wanted a little bit more pop on it, but I'm saying because of the wetness of the ground, it slipped out of his hand and went up there. But you know what? In the box score, it looks like it was a bullet across the middle.
Oh, yeah. Now, 9:50 to go here in the first half, Brett, and this is the first play of South Creek's in West Columbus territory.
Yep. After their biggest play of the game.
Hand off to the fullback, off to the right-hand side, picks up minimal yardage, if that. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And that is 65. Yeah, 65 for West Columbus with the tackle there. Pretty much a single tackle there. See if I can get his name.
Second and 10 once again for the Cougars. 9:13 to go here in the first half. Once again, South Creek going from left to right in your radio dial, and West Columbus will be going from right to left.
There's no radio dials anymore, Kevin. It's all digital. Come on. You still got your 8
Are we still? Hey, we still FM.
Here we go. Straight
Hand off
give.
once again to the up back. Yeah, he is down.
West Columbus is trying to get that turnover. Every time they get them locked up, they're going for that ball and trying to pull it out. And South Creek hauls it in and gains about a yard there. So it's going to be about 3rd and 9.
And we've talked about this a lot, but you look at the size of that West Columbus defensive line. They're going to outsize most teams they play. And I don't think running up the middle is a strong offense, Brett, because you're not making those big horses run. Yeah. You're not wearing them down at all.
Well, but another thing, too, I mean, South Creek can't change their offense in 1 week. They've got to go with what has actually got them to the dance. They know that West Columbus is a team that's going to clog up the middle, and they just got to, go man on man and, best man win.
Drops back, rolls to the right, throws it high, tipped, and almost intercepted and almost caught again. It'll be 4th and 9 for the South Creek Cougars. Brett, should they do what brought them to the dance? Because they brought them to 0-10.
Well, yeah, I mean, I thought about that when I said that. But, you can't come over and draw up plays in the dirt, as we used to say, to try to get ready for a team. You may want to tweak what you have a little bit, but you can't really change from week to week. Because, listen, it takes a lot of time and effort to learn these plays. I mean, I coached football for years. And, I mean, it was tough on me. And I know it's got to be tough on these kids trying to learn all these plays.
4th and 9, Cougars ball on about the 35-yard line of West Columbus. 7:58 to go here in the first half.
I'm trying that Hail Mary again here, Kevin.
Seems to be working. Although I think I do that to the left-hand side of the field.
What's the call here?
Possibly delay a game.
Timeout.
Honestly, Brett, can you flip that and maybe run to the wide side now?
Yeah.
Because all three of those pass attempts have been to the short side of the field.
Well, the only thing about going to the wide side, if you go to the wide side, there's usually more defenders there. Okay, and that's why a lot of teams like to go to the short side of the field because there is usually less defenders there. So, but you gotta throw them off a little bit, and a lot of teams like to go to their own bench, and that's why they've been going to the weak side of the field there.
So Tennessee's now over, Brett. What is Brett Burrows doing for the winter?
Well, you know what?
In between tennis seasons.
You know what? I thought I would go home and do stuff, but it's even though you're not practicing or whatever, it still seems like there's always stuff to do. And I actually have spent a lot of time with my children, after school, working with them with their homework, making out tests for them and stuff like that, which has been enjoyable. But now I did go home one day and sit on the couch, and about 5 minutes later I was knocked out. So I've learned I just can't go home and sit down.
I will tell you this much. I really enjoyed the World Series this year. I'm originally from northeastern Pennsylvania, so enjoying watching the Phillies play and getting that opportunity. Unfortunately, they're down 3-2, and they have tonight off. That's why I can do the game. Pass once again to right hand side.
There you go.
Caught and dropped.
He had it there, Kevin.
Had the opportunity, had the first down yards, just couldn't hold on to it. Gets slung around, and his arms came wide open.
Well, I'm a big Major League Baseball fan. I'm, an equally big Braves fan, even though my Braves didn't get there. The Phillies took them out. I have to give it to the Astros. They are a really good team, even though they are hated by a lot of people in America. But, that pitching is just outrageous. That combined no-hitter was something to be seen. And, nobody wants to get no hit in the World Series, but Phillies did a great job. West Columbus, 23, to the right side, strings it out.
Again,
they did stop them.
Yeah, not getting a lot of resistance, picks up first down yardage, and will go down all the way to the Cougar 43. West Columbus right back on the ball, trying to pick up some momentum.
They're looking for that running clock.
Around the left-hand side, he gets around the corner. We do have a block in the back, and we will come back the other direction.
Well, he threw the laundry and then tried to catch it. Or maybe was going to throw it in the wrong position, but he's giving numbers and telling them who it was blocking the back.
Yeah. You can see it coming. And honestly, Brett, it's one of those things where the back changed direction, and he just got caught on the wrong side.
Well, one thing I'm seeing about South Creek here is that they're funneling everything to the center. They're not getting any contain on the outside, and that's where West Columbus is getting their dividends.
That's their bread and butter.
Yeah, that's their dividends there is going to the outside. And if they can start stringing plays a little bit, they'll have a better chance of stopping West Columbus.
7:35 to go here in the first half. West up 26-0. First and 20 on the midfield stripe. West Columbus looking to pick up on their lead. Again, first and 20. But they've shown, the ability to hit from just about anywhere. Rolls to the right. It's Unique Kelly. Kelly turns it up. Picks up
Another
the first
flag.
10. And, again, West Columbus, Lamont Williamson cannot be happy about this.
Going to be another hold there.
It's nice you're up 26-0, Brett, but as the football coach in you says, there's so much we could do that we could do better.
Right. And that's two holding calls back-to-back against West Columbus. And Coach Williamson, I'm sure, is saying that, guys, we don't need to be doing that up 26-0. Play the way you're supposed to play. That's just things they got to build on there.
And, again, Brett, it's one of those things where it's not hurting you right now. But when you play these strong 2A teams in the second, third, fourth round, you can't afford mental mistakes.
Right.
Because right now, it's still first and fair bluff.
Yeah. Well, actually, Chadburn that way.
And Chadburn, okay.
Yeah, we're going to the left on the
Actually,
radio
we're going
dial.
towards Chadburn.
Yep.
Drops back to pass. Chucks it a ton down the road.
Wow, that's a beautiful ball.
He catches it.
Wow, that is a beautiful ball from a high school quarterback there across. And I was like, run it, dude. He had 15, 20 yards. But a connection from, who's that, Unique Kelly?
Unique Kelly.
Yep.
And Sweet just drops it in, Brett. And sometimes when it rains, it pours.
That was a nice ball. Here we go.
It is up, and it is in. 1 yard touchdown for the Vikings makes our score 32-0 with 6:51 to go here in the first half. And Brett, again,
Here's where you go for two, Kevin.
here's where you chase
By the card will tell you you just missed your last extra point, and by the card you would go for two here to try to chase that point that you lost. But up 32-0, you probably throw that card out
Here's
the
my
window.
question, Brett. If you have not utilized your kicking game all year, how important is the kicking game and the special teams going to become in these playoffs?
Well, and this is probably why you're kicking here is because you're going to need this kid to maybe make a clutch extra point or field goal in this.
Kick is up, and it
It's
is good. Our score was 6:51 to go here in the first half. West leading 33-0. And again, like you said, Brett, he's going to be needed down the road. And one thing I don't think a lot of high school teams practice is field goal kicking.
No, I agree. It's the last. I coached football for years, and it's the last thing you do every practice. Kickoff team, and when you heard the word kickoff team, you know it's time to go to the house.
Yep.
Because that was the last thing you're going to practice, and it's time to go home. But you don't do a lot of reps with it. Especially at South where I coached, we always got soccer players to come out and do the kicking for us, and a lot of times they didn't even come to practice till right about that time to practice field goals.
Halftime score, Brett. Whiteville 6, Southwest Onslow 3.
Well, you know what? When I saw that they were playing Southwest Onslow, I'm saying that is a pretty tough draw for Whiteville there because Southwest Onslow plays in a tough conference. Now, they are not the Southwest Onslow of the years back with Coach Pageant and people like that.
But they play like Jacksonville, Northside,
Right,
and some of those schools
right.
up in that end, up in that end of North
Right.
Carolina. And
Right.
there's not an easy out there.
Right, I agree.
If anybody can give us an East Columbus score, we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know one person from East Columbus I'm making text and see.
Once again, West Columbus to toe the line from the 40 going from right to left. Kick is crossed, taken on about the 20-yard line. He'll try once again to get to center. Picks up about 8-10 yards, where he's upended at the 32, and it'll be South Creek football, 1st and 10. Okay, I've got a second quarter score from about 30 minutes ago that says East Columbus nothing, Beargrass Charter nothing, second quarter.
Okay.
That was about 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
Not a lot of scoring going on other than here, Brett.
Well, East Columbus gets in to the playoffs, maybe sort of unexpected, and looks like they may be vying for a first-round win.
Very unusual, Brett. You have East, West, and Whiteville in the playoffs, and South Columbus watching. I'm sure, South Columbus, only graduating 5 seniors, will be definitely back next year.
Yeah. Not the year that South Columbus is used to having, but a lot of youth on that team, and they'll be back.
Pushing forward is the fullback from South Creek. He'll pick up about a yard and a half. It'll be 2nd and 9.
When do you think Franklin's going to make his grand entrance?
I don't know. I promised to send him a golf cart. He's getting a little bit up in age. I wanted to make sure he was,
I didn't say that, Franklin,
didn't want him to take,
He may be out there in that parking lot, and he's going to come up here and body slam you. And I'd like to see that.
Often imitated, never duplicated, Franklin Davis, the Dean of Broadcasting here in Columbus County, and, a mentor to a lot of us. And a grandfather figure to many of us.
1st and 10 for West Columbus. Edie going to gain about 9 yards there.
Did you see the ball get turned over, Brett?
I didn't. Was it turned over on downs or what?
No, that was 1st down. They just get the ball off.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's been a crazy night. 33-0, West Columbus. 6:15 left to go in the first half. We got talking about Franklin Davis and lost all track of everything. Sorry about that, guys.
That happens sometimes, y'all.
Yep. So West Columbus 2nd and 1.
Pitch to the right, all the way around the corner. weaving his way, and he'll pick up first down yardage all the way down to about the 8.
You know, I used to listen to, Friday night football games online and stuff, and one thing that always got me is the people never would say the score, and you have to wait there for the longest time. So that's why we're trying to say the score as much as possible, because
something we
don't
got
see
from
the
Franklin,
video.
because Franklin used to get on us because we never give down and distance.
Yep.
First and goal from about the 8 for West Columbus.
You've gotten a little bit better over the years, Kevin.
High snap corral.
Fumble
on the play. Looks like it'll be.
Okay. All right, right there. You weren't looking at home because you can't see. Fumble on the play. Guy tries to pick it up and keep the play going instead of falling on it, and that's the worst thing you can possibly do. Turnover, West Columbus. South Creek gets the ball on their own 15-yard line, 10-yard line. Things that you can't do.
Halftime score, Brett. East Columbus 14, Bear Grass Charter 6.
Wow.
Thank you to the News Reporter Sports, for that halftime score. Any idea what they said?
I think it's the guy that does the pictures.
I heard it was Dan Beiser.
Maybe. But it might be the guy that's taking the pictures. He's doing a lot of new stuff for the News Report, and I cannot think of his name right now. Sorry about that. But he's changing over and doing a lot of new things for the News Reporter.
Hand off up the middle. He'll get about 2 or 3 before it'll be upended, and it'll be second down. 5:29 to go here in the first half, Brett. 33-0 in favor of West Columbus. How important is it to West to get that up into the 40s, get one score in the second half, and then rest your starters?
Well, I'm sure that was the game plan coming in, is that we need to score as many points in the first half as possible and, give our starters a breather, because they're going to be – worst thing you can do is get a big injury in the first round of the playoffs on a team that you know that you're supposed to handle pretty well.
How important is it, Brett, to be healthy at this time of year?
Well, and that's big for a lot of teams, because health is one of the things that will keep you down or cause you to jumpstart your postseason. And I don't know the injury report for West Columbus, but I don't think that they have a lot of kids, that are hurt. So that's a positive for them.
Miscommunication in the backfield. Ball dropped down for about another yard or 2 lost, and it'll be third down in about 10. 4:20 to go here in the first half.
And I did get a confirmation from Coach Rolita over at East Columbus that it is 14-6. East Columbus halftime.
Been told East Columbus might be the favorite in that ball game tonight, Brett.
Well, sort of looks like it. The score's indicating it. And they are at Beargrass, right?
I believe so, yes, sir. They are on the road.
And that's up there close to Greenville. I remember when I was at East Carolina, I remember hearing Beargrass
Pitch left, and nothing happened as the defensive end and outside linebacker Phil Well, and it'll be another yard or 2 lost. Deep now, fourth down, and 12 or 13 on about the 2 or 3.
Yeah. This is where you don't want to go backwards. You don't want to go backwards on your own 10-yard line.
This is what frightens me if you're a Cougar fan right now, Brett. Those snaps have been awful high on the punts.
That's right. It can, and if the ball is snapped over to the punter's head, that's going to be a safety for West Columbus. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Wholesale changes, student body exchange for the punt team. High snap. West Columbus not going after the block. Nice kick. Rolls all the way to the Viking side of the field. Taken, rolled off.
That's going to be a clip.
Got a clip called. Ball taken on about midfield all the way down to the 25, but we're probably going to be coming back the other direction.
And that is because the kid was behind the play. If that would have been in front of the play, I think that would have been a pretty good block. But right there, anything behind the play, they're going to call that. And this is going to be a heck of a penalty here, Kevin.
That's at least, you figure 25 on the run back and another 10 to 15. That's going to be a 35, 40-yard penalty, Brett.
That's the kind of penalty there that once you come over to the sideline, you're going to hear an earful.
And again, mental mistakes have to be avoided. because when you're playing quality teams, as you will as you get deeper into the playoffs, you just can't have mental mistakes and key moments will cost you ball games and cost you your season.
Yep. So that's going to be 15 yards from the 48.
On the upside, though, it's going to be 1st and 10 from that spot.
And you've been running off 20 and 30 yards every play, too. So
2:51 to go here in the first half. West Columbus starts off with 1st and 10 on their own 35, Brett, as opposed to the Cougar 25.
Yep. Big difference there. But, West Columbus still a lot of time left on the clock here, 2:51. That's going to be offsides.
Offsides on the defensive line of South Creek as you had 3 or 4 jump the snap count trying to get any advantage they can get.
And that was called by West Columbus. They changed the cadence there on their snap count. And, they've been going on the same exact thing all night long. And just South Creek jumps on that. And it's 1st and 5. Should be 1st instead of 4th over here, right, Kevin?
That's correct.
Okay. The down's a little bit off.
Down and around he goes, picks up yardage, and he's still going, Brett.
He had him by his shoestring. Wow.
Several missed tackles.
Wow.
And what do you say about that, Brett? I mean, you think you have him stop 3 or 4 times, and he just keeps turning those legs.
Yeah, it looked like at one time, it looked like he had his shoestring, and he was pulling it out of the guy's hand. But, it led to the defense of South Creek to catch up and make the play on the left side.
And funnily enough, Brett, we're back where we started. And once again, West Columbus deep in South Creek territory.
And like I said, I don't think penalties really matters to, West Columbus here because they're going to move the ball against these South Creek kids.
And we got another offside call against South Creek. South Creek desperate for any advantage they can get. And with 2:35 to go here in the first half, it's going to be 1st and 5 for West Columbus.
We got Ronnie Strickland in the booth tonight. He's coming up here and speaking with us and telling us, I'm sure, how great of a job we're doing.
I believe this is called quality control if you're a member of the school board.
Oh, yeah.
We're
I plead the 5th on that one.
making sure we're spending Columbus County Schools money wisely.
Well, the money we're getting paid, Kevin, we deserve it.
There you go.
Yeah. By broadcasting. The money we're getting paid broadcasting. How much you get paid?
I get paid in sausage dogs, actually.
Okay,
sausage dogs and funnel cake.
Yep, that's fine. Hey, I will work for food. Believe me. Oh, they waved the flag off.
Wave the flag off.
How do you wave off a offsides? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we saw one last week, Brett, where we saw him for tackling too hard. We got a penalty.
We sure did. Okay.
And now we've got another flag.
Okay, so did this right end move for West Columbus, or did the guy come across before he moved?
I'm going to tell you a secret. The team that's walking backward is who the flag's been called on.
Okay, so that's going to be false start on West Columbus.
Yes, sir.
But that defensive end may have drawn him off, so I don't know.
Most likely, but at 33-0, I think we're just trying to get the first half done. Once again, it's now back to 1st and 15. Ball goes around the right corner.
I don't think the penalties really matter, Kevin.
Just like the points, and whose line is it anyway?
But like you said, this is where you're getting ready for next week. You know that you're probably going to have an easier game in the first round, and you were ready for this. And like I said, you want to get your secondary kids into the game second half.
1st and goal on about the 5 for West Columbus. West Columbus looks to put a 40 spot on the board. Does not happen on that play as he's sacked deep in the backfield.
Yeah, that big nose guard came through the middle there and manhandled West Columbus running back there for about a 2-yard loss.
2nd and goal for the Vikings. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. West with, I believe, 2 timeouts and a lot of options.
I'm going to bet that this ball goes to the outside, Kevin.
Pro set. Inside handoff, bounces it out to the outside, and he'll go in for the touchdown.
There we go. That's where I'd run it every time, outside, because I got some big boys for this South Creek team here up the middle. So outside has been really good for West Columbus all night.
West Columbus picks up about the 6-yard touchdown with 1:45 to go here in the first half. Our score now 39-0 in favor of the Vikings. And
is the running clock 42 or 44?
44.
44.
42.
Well, see, yeah, somebody told me last week it was 42. I was thinking it was 44, but somebody did correct me that it is now 42. So how many points away from that, Kevin?
3.
That's that Philadelphia education.
You know what that is? That is, I teach English, not math.
Extra
He's
point.
down as-
Oh, that's not the.
yeah. High snap, corralled.
Okay.
Does not complete the pass, and it'll be 1:45 to go and 39-0 where West Columbus will
Did you
kick
notice that was not Strickland kicking there? So did Strickland get hurt, or that was a called fake?
off. I honestly think you try to get maybe a
Okay.
secondary kicker in,
Okay.
in case Strickland does get hurt.
Strickland was the holder there. So I'm assuming that may have been a called go for two there because, like I said, you're chasing that extra point that you lost a while ago.
1:45 to go here in the first half. Let's see if we can get Ronnie Strickland call a little ball for us.
All right. Sounds good.
Mr. Strickland, member of the Columbus County School Board, thanks for joining us. I know you're quite busy right now with, election time, and election's just a few days away. I'd like to thank you for stopping by.
Sure. I always try to get out to any of the high school football games, but West Columbus is home. I actually played out here in the early 80s, so
I wasn't going to ask when.
I was actually I played on the 85 team, the only team in West Columbus history to go 3-0, start a season 3-0. So
Excellent. And what position?
I was outside linebacker and right tackle.
So once a Viking, always a Viking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My wife graduated from here, and both of my boys graduated as well. So we stayed gone for a while, but when we came back home, we moved back to this area because we wanted our boys to go to have the same experience as we did. So
West Columbus about to kick off. Kick off high and deep. It would be taken about the 30-yard line, up to the middle, around the right-hand side, up almost to midfield. He's still up, and he gets tackled into West Columbus territory on the 49.
that was a pretty impressive run for that young man.
At least South Creek kids were a tough year. But the guys, credit, they're still playing hard.
That absolutely they are. There's no quit in them, I can tell you that.
Talk to us a little about what's going on with the school board nowadays. I mean, really a lot of action going on. Really important to get involved with your school board, get involved with your local schools.
Absolutely. There is a lot going on right now. We're trying to get recover from COVID. Obviously we just had test scores released, and while they were much better than they were last year, they still did not meet our expectations. So, working on trying to make sure that we have the best education for all the students in Columbus County.
High snap recovered deep in the backfield by South Creek, a loss of about 20. It'll be second and about 30. And talk to us a little bit about your experience on the board. You joined just a few years ago, and talk to us about some of the good things that have happened while you've been on the board and some of the things that you guys are working towards.
Well, obviously, for those of you that follow everything that goes on with the Board of Education, a couple of years before I got on, we actually were short budget. The board had to go back to the county commissioners and request additional funding. And I'm very proud of the fact that right now we have a balanced budget. We also have about $1.5 million in the fund balance. So we've got a little bit that can tide us over in emergency situations. So very proud of that. I'll let you call this play.
High snap, go corralled and taken off to the right for a gain of about 8. And it'll be third down with about 36 seconds to go here in the first half. You've had 2 children go through Columbus County schools. Talk to us a little bit about why Columbus County. What's great about Columbus County schools?
First and foremost, I'm getting tongue-tied here, Kevin. But first and foremost, it's home. Like I said, both my wife and I graduated from here in 1986. Both of our boys have graduated from here. My wife's parents were in the education system for a long time. I think my mother-in-law put in 38 years with the school system. So, there's a lot of great things. Number one is the experiences that our students can have.
Handoff up the middle, taken for about 3 or 4 yards. It'll be fourth and still about 20-21 for the Cougars, with maybe time to get off one more play before halftime. Now, talk to us a little bit about. I know you're a big fan of, community schools and community schooling, and talk to us about the resurgence of this West Columbus athletic program and the community coming together to really support this team.
Well, I think it starts with the effort on the field, and Coach Williamson has done an excellent job of getting, number one, the kids out to play. I heard for years that there were better athletes walking the halls than there were playing football. But
and it is halftime.
All right. So, but they have gotten the energy of the kids and the student body first and foremost, and that has extended out to the community. We have a principal here that has really driven home the fact that this school and these teams, all of these students here are one big family. And she treats them like that. So, and I think the kids certainly see and understand that and feel that, most importantly.
Definitely give a shout out to Ronna Gore, first-year principal at West Columbus this year. Her and Bobby Godwin apparently we've had an untimed down for some reason.
Yep.
But, taking over, and from longtime principal Jeff Green, real great atmosphere here on this end of the county, really supportive of the school system in general, and can't say enough about, nice seeing crowds out at West Columbus games again.
Yep. I'm sitting here looking out the window, Kevin, and looking at the players going into the locker room for halftime. How long has it been since you've seen that many players with a West Columbus football uniform
Agreed.
on?
5 years ago, we're looking at 15, 16, 17 kids.
That's exactly right.
I'd like to thank you for coming out. We really
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you joining us, and good luck at the polls on Tuesday.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Take an opportunity to tell everybody that, get out and exercise your right to vote. What happens, if you get out and vote, then you certainly have a say in what's going on. So,
Absolutely.
Kevin, thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for dropping by. We do appreciate everything you've done for Columbus County Schools, and we look forward to, maybe seeing you down the road, hopefully at another ball game. We'll check in with you.
Let's hope so. I hope to be right back here next week.
Outstanding. Yes, sir. We'll be back in just a few moments with Franklin Davis, our halftime guest, and we will see you here on 89.9 WZCO.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that opportunity.
Hopefully that went over well.
I think it went over great. So, worked out. I appreciate it, gentlemen. Do we need to step over and talk about the threesome?
How about that?
That was hilarious.
Well, Meadows called me about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we wrote it.
All right. Okay, we are back at halftime with the often imitated but never duplicated Dean of Columbus County Sportscasting, Franklin Davis. And true story, last week was a 6-year anniversary of when I started broadcasting. And I started broadcasting football here at West Columbus last week, 6 years ago, with Rod Likens. And a few weeks later, I'm on the air with Franklin. And Franklin, for the first 2 years of broadcasting for me, really helped me learn what to do, what not to do. And I still go to him for a lot of mentorship. So, Franklin, thanks for coming by.
You're welcome, Kevin. And from what I've heard in the first half, obviously I haven't taught you well enough.
I've got, yeah.
Franklin actually taught me when I was a freshman.
Ronnie Strickland just let us know that Franklin actually taught, Ronnie here when he was a freshman.
Since we're on the old age thing here. Hey, I got to clear up one thing to begin with here, okay? It is historically correct to refer to a group of Vikings as a shipload because the Vikings rode on ships. They did not ride on boats.
Now, I will counter with we got a comment last week.
I saw that. Doesn't matter.
From somebody that said
historically you would be incorrect saying a boatload of Vikings because Vikings rode on multi-sailed ships of over 100 feet. Therefore, there's no such thing as a boatload of Vikings. To be correct, you must say shipload.
Yes, but Brett and I talk Southern, and we talk Columbus County, and that gets us in trouble.
People need to get their minds up away from thinking negative thoughts and just, go with the correct historical perspective there.
Yeah.
So now that we have that out of the way.
Okay. Now,
and speaking of Brett, since I'm kind of taking over the interview here, where'd Brett go? Hey, B squared. By the way, the Raleigh charter team that took your South Columbus girls out in the first round, they're in the state finals after beating Green Central 6-0 yesterday, and so they'll be playing in the state finals. So South Columbus has nothing to be ashamed of. Raleigh charter does that to almost everyone.
Again, nice to see you again. You and I worked together for a couple of years. Again, I learned a lot. Still have a lot to learn, absolutely. And
we all do.
And my 3-point, goal, that is an homage to D. Franklin Davis. So that being said, we all do come to Franklin a lot. I want to thank Franklin here in public for all the help he gives all of us. We play a usual game, try to stump Franklin Davis because I'm the kind of guy, I like to tell you how to make the watch. I like to tell you the strategy. But Franklin is the walking encyclopedia history of Columbus County sports. And I tried to get him last week and the week before on a couple of trivia questions, and he still got me.
I'd like to take credit for that as far as knowing all that. I just know where to look a lot of times in order to find the information. But, in this day and time with the Internet, knowing where to look is just as important as knowing, I guess. So.
It's true. But I do love – actually, back in the day, I have to admit, I did love to tune into baseball games with Franklin Davis. If you ever get a chance to listen to him do a baseball game, some of the stories he tells are absolutely fantastic.
And some of the lies are about as fantastic as well.
And they get better every year. Now,
hey, have you heard the East Columbus score, halftime?
14-6.
They're up 14-6. And have you heard the Whiteville score?
6-3 at halftime.
No, 6-3 at the end of the third quarter.
6-3 at the end of the third now.
Yes, and the fastest moving game that I have heard of in quite some time.
The least amount of offense I think I've seen in a while.
Whiteville scored within a minute and 10 seconds of the opening kickoff.
Okay.
And that's been it for them. So I thought, and if anybody, and I would encourage everyone to, since I'm up here, give them a plug. The News Reporter usually do a Columbus County football preview each week prior to the the
yes,
games.
And we steal liberally from it. Yes.
So I'd encourage everyone to go see that.
Not to steal from a future column, because I know you're going to do a basketball preview coming up. Give us a little sneak peek. We have our first broadcast on December the 9th. We had the Green Sea Floyd at South Columbus game. Give us a little sneak peek into the future. Tell us what we're going to see. Give us a little hint of what we're going to see from basketball in Columbus County this year.
I have no idea. Basketball hasn't even crossed my mind. When do they start?
Very soon, I think.
I think one thing that's going to be interesting, of course, is the change in leadership here at West Columbus with W.T. Edwards moving into an assistant principal's position, and Lamont Williamson is going to have to go directly from the football field onto the basketball court. So it'll be interesting to see how the Vikings gel at the first of the year. But he has a number of the same players that are going to play for him now. So as far as being able to mold a team together, the team's pretty much molded together already. They're just in their football uniforms.
Talk to us a little bit about that. You've seen this in years past where football teams going into the second, third round traditionally here in Columbus County have to get that quick turnaround with basketball starting up. Matter of fact, Brian Edwards and his team over in Lumberton have a scrimmage tonight.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about how uncharacteristic it is where East Columbus and South and West Columbus look to be possibly entertaining second-round games and cutting into their practice.
And there's really a small school, there's nothing you can do about it because 1A schools have to have the athletes to participate in multiple sports in order to be successful. You can't have just football players or just basketball players or just the best athletes have to play a variety of sports. So, typically I'd say within a week to 10 days after football season, the players that are transitioning from football to basketball pretty much fall right in line with what the expectations are.
Okay, not to put you on the spot.
Oh, and this conference, is small enough where there's so many non-conference games where it gives the teams in this conference anyway plenty of time to decide on lineups. But you're also every game you play affects that RPI, and that RPI affects your seeding
Absolutely.
and whether you're at home or not too.
Now, not to put you on the spot, but we've had a number of interesting calls this year. So talk to us a little bit about, now, you gave me the explanation via text, but you told me I butchered the explanation last week. Talk to us a little bit about the kickoff out of bounds and whether it's an award or a penalty.
It can be either. Okay, so,
explain,
all right, here's
please.
an example. The kicking team kicks off on the 40-yard line and kicks the ball out of bounds on the 5-yard line. The receiving team has the option of taking the ball 25 yards from where it was kicked off, which would be the 35, or backing the kicking team up 5 yards and having them re-kick. If the ball's placed at the 35, there's no penalty yardage, so it's an award. If the ball is moved back to the 5 yards and re-kicked, then it's a 5-yard
So
penalty.
it's not like the professional rule where it goes, but you basically take it at the out of bounds spot.
You could take it at the out-of-bounds spot if it was closer, if it was farther up than the 35-yard line. Let's say you try an onside kick and you kick the ball out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Well, you wouldn't want to take it at the 35. You would take the ball at the 50 where it went out, so you have that option as well.
Okay, we had a situation here in the first half where we had two personal fouls called, and South Creek gained 8 yards on the play.
I disagreed with what we almost threw it. Well, they put 3 minutes back on it. It was a face mask
Okay.
because it was right in front of me. A face mask was called on West Columbus, which was a live ball foul.
Right.
And then sportsmanlike conduct penalty, dead ball foul, was called on South Creek. What I thought the officials should have done was marked off 15 yards from the previous spot, which would have given South Creek a first down. And then because it was dead ball, taking it back half the distance to the goal line because it was inside the 30, and then reset the chains them in 1st and 10 from that point. But what they did was they marked off the 15 yards and then marked off the half the distance and reset it at 3rd down. So that's why the half the distance was not as much as the 15. So that's why there was an unequal walk-off as far as the penalty went, and South Creek benefited from that, but did not benefit as much as they would have if they had been given credit for a first down. Make sense?
About as clear as soup, actually.
Okay, great. Okay, chicken noodle maybe.
We have second half action coming. Talk to us a little bit about what you're expecting to see in the second half from West Columbus.
I'm expecting West Columbus on their first offensive possession to score a touchdown and have a continuously running clock for the remainder of the game.
Now, how long do you leave starters in?
As soon as you get that first touchdown, I would have everyone that I could afford to have out and still function normally. Sometimes you can't take the quarterback out because that's your quarterback, and for your offense to run in any kind of fashion whatsoever, that's who has to be in there. So it's kind of hard to say, not knowing personnel and depth wise. But as soon as you get the running clock, it's an opportunity to get some more kids in, I think, and play from that point.
Okay, let's look ahead to next week. East Columbus possibly second round action. West Columbus possibly second round action, and Whiteville hopefully second round action. Talk to us a little bit about, bracket wise, what each team is looking at next.
If East wins, they very possibly will have a rematch with Wilson Prep, who they opened the season with, and with a loss. Wilson Prep, I think, stepped in and took Rocky Mount Academy's spot when Rocky Mount Academy said they didn't have enough players to play at that point. And Rocky Mount Academy also made the playoffs and then forfeited the South Side after the brackets were set. So a little bit of a fine's going to be in the case there. West Columbus will get the winner of Gates County versus Washington County. Gates County is the 12. Interesting, this South Creek team played Gates County last week, and Gates County only beat them 28-14. So interesting that Gates County is a 12, but West Columbus, whoever West Columbus plays, it'll be at home. Whiteville, if they manage to get past Southwest Onslow, has another tough task because it'll probably be Edenton Holmes, who is a 14 seed, but they're 10 in RPI and come out of a very tough league. You got to watch out for those seeds that are like 11, 12, 13, 14, because they're typically second-place teams out of really good conferences that have good RPIs, and their seed is somewhat deceptive. Wallace Rose Hill is 5 in RPI, and they're like a 13 seed. So, and who wants to see them in the second round?
Absolutely. We'll be right back with second half action with Brett Burris, Franklin Davis. Hopefully be sticking around for a little bit. Myself, we'll be back with second half action here on 89.9 WZCO. Okay, we are back with second half action. South Creek, out of the frying pan into the fryer, getting set to kick off the second half, Brett. And we're looking, very quickly at West trying to get on the scoreboard and get this thing to a running clock.
Sorry about that, Kevin. I was trying to swallow some nachos there. But, yeah, you're right. South Creek, one of the biggest things they want to do here is to get on the scoreboard. You don't want to travel 2.5 hours, possibly 3 hours, and bring home a goose egg. You want to at least get on the board here. Onside kick. I think it was offsides before.
You were offsides on the onsides, Brett. I've been
Yep.
waiting to use that line forever.
Yep. So do you re-kick here or what?
According to Franklin,
Yes. If it's offsides, you would re-kick, right?
you can drop them back 5 yards and make them re-kick. Of course, they called that wasn't a kick out of bounds.
Yeah. So that's going to be a re-kick. And we're enjoying some nachos right here. I brought Kevin some nachos back, so if you hear him crunching, you'll know what it is because we got to feed the machine up here.
And what machine would that be, Brett?
You're the machine. Two great interviews, Kevin. I listened to both of them. Two, staunch supporters of high school football here in the county. It's going to be out of bounds.
Out of bounds,
I
but
think.
did it go for 10 yards, Brett?
It did go 10 yards, so they're going to take over right there. Correct?
Should be.
Okay.
But the question is which direction?
There we go. So it's going to be West Columbus ball.
West Columbus ball. Look for me for all the world.
Because nobody recovered.
looked to me like the South Creek player did recover inbounds, but they didn't call it.
If that had gone out of bounds there, West Columbus would have taken it there.
Franklin Davis making sure I get it right this time.
Well, I just make sure you tell me what's right, and we'll go from there.
Here's what I do. I call it, then I text Franklin and ask him if I got it right. First and 10, West Columbus on the 45, off to the right, and Edie is off to the races.
Well, I think,
he is in for the touchdown.
I think Franklin Davis called it. What you going to do if you're West Columbus? You're going to give the ball to Edie, and you're going to let him run to the outside and take it to the house, and that's going to take us to that running clock, Kevin.
You know, as I recall, Franklin Davis might have done this a time or two before.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, but, I didn't want to say that. But, up 45-0. West Columbus has been scoring on demand all night. Not a lot of defensive pressure against. Actually, West Columbus has hurt themselves with penalties more than what South Creek has done.
You're 45-0, 11:33 to go here. With the running clock now starting here on the campus of West Columbus High School. You know what it is? I think Franklin said it's the white beard that gives him a lot more authority. That sage wisdom.
Well, I'm working on that. Somebody told me this week I had salt and pepper hair. You heard? Well, you don't have any gray hair.
I just have salt.
Is that good for
point
two?
Pass is up for two.
Did he catch it? Yes, he
Caught for two.
A busted play leads to a two, and you've practiced that in practice, Kevin. A bad snap on a extra
What was that?
point.
A fire call?
Fire call, yeah, you're right. Fire call where we go out and the receivers go out and just settle down in a certain area, and the probably holder there just fired it to them, and that's 47-0. West Columbus here with the running clock.
13-3 Whiteville into the third, and looks like Whiteville might squeak by. Quick moving game down there. We're just into the second half here, and they are almost into the fourth quarter.
I bet you we'll pass them.
I think it's possible.
And, Kevin, I'm wondering, we've had a lot of running clocks this year. Do you think that's because the teams want to shut our mouth up here, so we don't have as much to talk about? Those guys just talk crazy stuff. We need to get to a running clock so we don't have to hear them anymore.
No, but I think a lot of them do put us on mute when they watch us later on tonight, Brett.
Probably so. Do you ever go back and listen to our broadcast?
I do. I do it every weekend. I call up and try to get a grade from Franklin about how we did.
Okay. I just don't like to listen to myself. I don't think I sound cool.
I definitely don't sound cool, but I also try. Why did I say that?
Oh, I know. But we're thinking on our feet here, and it's not an easy job. Matt Gore, told me that when he stepped in, he was a little nervous from doing it because he didn't want to embarrass himself. And I said, just come out and talk about football, and he did a great job.
Caught on the fly and bowled over at the 36-37. It'll be first down, going that from left to right for South Creek. A lot of action here tonight, Brett. Game kind of comfortably in hand, but if you're West Columbus, a lot to be careful about here in this second half. With the running clock, injuries and experience can be gained, and it could be valuable because you're going to be somebody on that West Columbus bench right now that you're going to need later on in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like Franklin said, this is the time where you want to get some subs in that you can safely get in. If you don't have a good backup at a certain position, your number one has got to stay out there. And I'm sure West Columbus pulled up some JV players. I don't exactly know how many, but I'm sure there's some JV players getting a chance.
Backside counter, swallowed up by the defensive end for West Columbus and the left defensive tackle, and just loss of about 4 or 5, and we got an injury for South Creek. Brett, I want to give a shout out to some of the new folks we got. Basketball about to start up. You got some basketball coaches who are eagerly getting as much rest as they can as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving. Talk to us a little bit about what preseason is like for basketball coaches.
Well, you've probably started with some workouts probably about a month ago. Get a couple of kids into the gym when you possibly can. Like at South, you really can't do a lot because we only have one gym. Now, we play a lot of teams that have what we call auxiliary gyms. And as a basketball coach, you take advantage of the auxiliary gym because you don't have to battle volleyball. So
nothing happening up the middle. Will be third down and about 15 once again for South Creek.
So, you're just working on getting conditioning right and stuff like that for the first parts of the year. But starting November 1st is when you can officially start basketball, and that's when you get your team out there and you start putting in plays and start, looking at your scrimmages and things like that. And within 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to hear a lot about, basketball here in the county.
New basketball coach over at South and here at West. And is there a new coach at East this year also?
I'm not exactly sure, Kevin. I know Corey Sykes at South Columbus. This is actually his second year over there. And we got Megan Storms coming back as a varsity head coach.
Was that Megan Storm and Megan Witzel now?
Megan Weitzel. She goes by either. I know her as Megan Storm. She was actually my assistant coach in basketball and softball. And now she has taken over both programs and does a really good job at both. She actually asked me this week if I wanted to help her, and I said if Columbus County will match my $10,000 fee, I'll be glad to do it. But I hadn't heard where they matched that yet. So
It's going to be impressive to watch you do that and call ball games at the same time.
hey, for $10,000, I can do a lot. I could actually do that. But I know they're not going to pay me $10,000. But that would be what it would cost to get me back into basketball, because basketball is a grueling, long, tough sport. I mean, if you're a good coach in basketball, you're out there giving it your all for 2 hours a night practicing, and then, basketball games are tough mentally.
Not like football where you can, we have a lot of larger men standing on the sideline with a whistle.
All right, here we go. It's going to be third and about 14.
Bunch formation.
And
Ball rolls
sneaks
off to the
out.
right. I got to say, I
he's
like
going to be
this.
close. He's going to be close, Kevin.
He's going to be about maybe a yard short.
Yeah.
But makeable fourth down for South Creek.
Well, I mean, you got to go for it here because you've shown your punting game is not that great. So you're going to have to go for it here.
47-0 our score, 6:37 with a running clock in favor of the Vikings. And Brett, getting close to Thanksgiving. There's going to be a little nip in the air after this week probably. Talk to me as a former player and coach about how much fun it is to be playing football in November.
Well, I actually added it up on the way over here. I wanted to see what round you would actually have to he got the first down, Kevin.
Bowles his way over for about a 6-yard gain. It'll be 1st and 10 South Creek on the Viking 48.
So I looked on the calendar just to see what round you would have to get to practice on Thanksgiving. Usually it is the third round. This year you have to make it to the fourth round to practice on Thanksgiving. Which fourth round, is that the Eastern Final? Fourth round is the Eastern Final. So therefore, you love practicing in November. You know that you've had a good season if you can turn the calendar and know that you got practices in November. And what you want to do is just you just got to stay alive, win in advance. And that's what West Columbus is trying to do here tonight.
Can we coin November Madness?
Yeah, sure.
1st and 10, rolls to his right, running for his life, has to pull the ball down, and he'll be sacked for about an 8-yard loss.
And, it is, if you're a big high school football fan, this is the time of year that you love. And I love watching and reading up about all the different levels, the 4A powerhouses and who they're having to play and who's having a better year this year in the 4A ranks. And then, of course, the 2A ranks to me, is probably pound per pound the best league to watch football in. And, there's a lot of good 2A teams, and we're noticing that against Whiteville. And we just see that the 13-3 is a final over there at Whiteville. But, tough first-round game that you're Whiteville. You're going in, hey, we're big dogs. We need a cheesecake first round, and they didn't get it.
Thank you, Phil Wright, for that score. Drops back to pass up, just in and out of the hands of the receiver on about the 32, 33-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 18 for the South Creek Cougars.
And like Franklin said, it doesn't get any easier for Whiteville. Edenton Holmes, assuming that they win, is always a big powerhouse 2A team. I've seen them come to South Columbus many times and bring a really good football team over there. And so, if Whiteville is going to make a a trek in this playoff, they're going to have to go through the big dogs.
East Columbus over Beargrass Charter, 20-6 in the fourth quarter, Brett. That's up about 3 minutes ago.
Wow.
Once again, to whoever's doing the scores on Twitter for the news reporter. Full house backfield for South Creek. South Creek quarterback rolls to his right, throws it just over the receiver, intercepted by the West Columbus secondary.
By number 8.
Shucks off a tackler, still with the ball, and he's going to get positive yardage back to midfield.
Wow. So West Columbus is going to take over at midfield, up 47-0.
3:16 to go here in the third quarter.
You know, speaking of Twitter, you know, Elon Musk now is the quote owner, or you know, the majority shareholder of Twitter.
No truth to the rumor that you were going to be buying Twitter with all your baseball card money?
No, I actually have invested in Twitter before and got in it and out of it rather quickly. I don't usually invest in things that I usually don't use, and I'm not a big Twitter user. So, you know, no, I keep my baseball card money.
Backside handoff around the right-hand side picks up about 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
And I usually spend everything I make on cards. Like right now I'm working on the 1952 set, which is the first set that Topps ever produced, and that is a very expensive set if you know anything about baseball cards. But it's fun. You know, I enjoy stuff like that, and I think about these kids being in spokes of little kids back in the 50s, and it's just exciting to see these kinds of things, you know, the collecting of cards and memorabilia and things like that.
What is the baseball card of today's youth, Brett?
Well, you got some cards that you can buy at Walmart and stuff like that, but that's not the really big expensive cards. The big baseball cards are the Bowman rookie cards, the first round or first draft pick cards, like, of course, in 2017, Mackenzie Gore with a
backside counter
Bowman.
picks up 6 or 7, and a first down for the Vikings. It'll be 1st and 10 on about the 38, 39-yard line.
And then we are having a football game here, guys, but some running clock. West Columbus up 47-0, and just West Columbus just trying to run the clock out.
And trying to stay healthy, most importantly.
Yeah, and that's why they're not going to do anything too out of the ordinary, because they don't want to put anything at risk.
Also, West Columbus, high snap goes all the way back past midfield, covered up by the West Columbus quarterback. And it'll be 2nd and Fair Bluff, or 2nd and Sarah Gorda Elementary School for the Vikings.
Well, you know, I'm anxious. Is that West Columbus's regular snapper or center? Because there's been a couple of
here in the second half, that might be a backup snapper.
Yeah, could be the backup there. But there was 1 or 2 in the first half that wasn't really crisp. I don't know if there's a possibility that their starter went down to injury or whatever. We don't have that information, but I'm just guessing.
I think it's just an opportunity to make sure, you know, you rotate some linemen to make sure everybody stays healthy. Second and 25 for the Vikings. Outside handoff. And a very frustrated young man for
he had him in the backfield, Kevin, and he just upset. And I can understand that. You know, you play all night, you're getting beat 47-0, and you want to make a big play. You want to make a big play there. But my heart goes out to these kids. You know, it's going to be a lot of them's last football game. The last time they ever put on any pads, and that's tough. That's tough.
And that's the end of the third quarter, Brett. It's our score 47-0. West Columbus comfortably in head, but again, a very lonely feeling on the short end of a long score in your last high school football game, knowing you're not going to be able to put those pads back on again. You know, but this South Creek team is West Columbus 5 years ago. And I was talking to the South Creek coaching staff beforehand, and they said, you know, they're new this year. They got a very experienced coaching staff, and they're looking to start building from this year, you know, and getting these young men some experience. So 2, 3, 4 years down the road, they're going to have the same opportunities.
Well, you know as well as I do, Kevin, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes a while to build a program, and you got to get the kids to actually buy into the program. Like, you know, I was thinking last night, and I was watching Coastal Carolina. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that game. Going against App State. Coastal Carolina, a little old school, and a coach took over that was from a rival school, and he did his best to get the kids to buy into it. And Coastal Carolina now is leading that conference and had a big win against App State last night in Conway.
Here's a score for you: 14-14, Cleveland and Topsail.
Okay. Cleveland Indians? Well, it can't be Guardians. Cleveland High School.
Cleveland High School, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgot that there's no Major League game tonight, no World Series. There's a travel day, right?
Yes, sir. Watched all 3 games the last couple of nights at Philadelphia. Great crowd up there. And Houston always brings a nice crowd, too. Houston goes home tomorrow and Sunday with the opportunity to clinch the World Series.
Yep.
Fourth and, let's see, 23 roughly.
Yeah, not the direction you want to go if you're West Columbus. You're getting yourself behind the chains, and a lot of these kids are probably subs.
A lot of substitutions right now for West Columbus.
And you're probably going to have a delay of game here.
Can you have a delay of game on a running clock?
Yeah, you can.
Punt, nice punt.
Yeah.
Taking it rolls all the way down to about the.
Why would that kid go do that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Cougars got very lucky on that. The kid from South Creek goes down and tries to pick it up in between 2 defenders of West Columbus, and luckily he was able to corral it there. And so South Creek is going to take over on their own, 14-yard line.
14-yard line. Trying to get some updated scores here.
All right. And like I said a while ago, most everybody that plays football will lose their last game. Everybody loses their last game except for the state champion. So it's always tough.
1st and 10, Cougars ball on their 14, and rolling clock here in the 4th quarter, 10 minutes to go.
Rolling clock, I like that. It's not really running as in on 2 feet. It's rolling.
I'm working on my word power.
Yeah.
Hopefully by basketball season I might be able to put a couple of multi-syllable words together.
You got it.
Fullback driving his legs, picks up good yardage all the way to about the 20-yard line.
Speaking of basketball, you are starting out with the Green Sea
Yes, sir.
South Columbus game, and now I won't be there. You know that, but
But remember our deal. You promised me, a Mickey Mouse,
Okay.
with maybe a headset on.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. So I don't know if you want to try to get somebody to help you out that night or what. Matt Gore's a great one, so if you want to call him up or what.
I've actually, have begun preliminary discussions with
good.
Matt Gore.
Good. Sounds great. Because I don't want to hold you back because I know you can do it by yourself. I've heard you, but I know you like to have somebody over here to just run the chops with.
Second down loses yardage of about 3, so it'll be 3rd and about 6 for the Cougars. 9 minutes to go here in the game. Now, how many has the young ladies that your young ladies been to Disney yet, or is this going to be the first time?
3rd time, Kevin.
3rd time.
3rd time's the charm.
So, do we have individual mouse ears with their names on them yet, Brett?
No, they're not big on buying stuff like that. They
obviously they're young, Brett. They'll grow into that.
Yeah, well, they love to do the character meets. They're not big on rides. They like to eat little its and bits of food. And
I used to love the ice cream sandwiches with the Mickey Mouse ears.
Yes,
Oh, they're
yes,
delicious.
They still got them. 3rd and about 4. Well, not Beargrass, but
Beargrass
South
is playing
Creek.
East Columbus, so
Yep.
if they're
South
making
Creek.
a tackle here, it'd be rough.
South Creek. We're checking all these scores, and it's throwing all these names out here. Let's see.
4th down and a bunch for South Creek. Seems like we've been here all night long. 8 minutes to go here in the ball game. Once again, had a chance to talk to Rodney Strickland at halftime, Brett, and he reminds us, get out, and as a civics and a government teacher, I know how important this is to you. Get out and vote.
Yep.
Now, we can agree to disagree on who we vote for, but the important thing is to get out to vote and get your voice heard.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You don't have to tell anybody who you vote for because once you go in that booth, you can vote for whoever you want to. But the biggest thing is go out and cast your vote. That is a not necessarily civic duty, but it's a right that you have to go out and express your
Now,
opinions.
talk to us a little bit. Now, people think you as a government and civics teacher, try to advocate for this side or that side. But talk to us about how, as a school teacher, you were high snap, kick does get off, might be partially blocked,
It's going to go
and it's
back
going
the
to roll
other way.
backward to about the 28.
I'm going down it there.
And talk to us a little bit about how important, it is to get these young people, especially these, kids who have just turned 18, who
Yeah.
are probably your seniors, getting them to register to vote.
Well, we always have voter registration drives at South Columbus and try to get all the seniors to actually register to vote. And, one of my biggest things is I teach you to go and vote, and I tell you exactly how to do it. Please do it. It's something that takes 10, maybe 15 minutes of your time. And like I say, you can walk out of that polling booth with your chest bowed out a little bit and said, hey, I did what I was supposed to do. But
Is it true that to be able to have a voice to speak your voice about what you believe in, and you don't have no right to complain if you don't take part in the process?
Yep, I hear that all the time. You have no need to complain if you don't cast your vote. And your person may not win, but, still have faith in the government that these leaders are going to do what should be done for the betterment of the community. That's going to be an offsides there, but I don't think they
High
called it.
snap, fumble recovered by the Cougars at about the 41.
That's got to be a JV center there, Kevin. I'm saying, because it's and that's probably a position that it's tough for a JV player to come up and and cover that position, because you're going up against playoff teams here, and you go from JV to this. There's a big difference.
Tell us the truth, but these teams have all gone to shotgun snaps. With a JV center, do you think you're better off maybe going under center?
Possibly so, but you know what? Like I said a while ago, Kevin, you're not going to change up what you do just because somebody's in there that's different. You're going to keep everything the same, because it throws it off. It throws everybody else off.
South Creek gets the ball at the 41, fumble on the
Fumble.
exchange, and they will cover it up, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
And I'm sure both sides have got a lot of subs in that's getting some time, and well deserved. Because you go to practice every day. You give 100% to your team, and you should pay some dividends, at the end of football games like this. But, we got 2nd and about 10 for South Creek. And like I said, I'd really love South Creek to punch one in here to get at least, 7 on the board, and not to take a goose egg home with them.
Hard to drive that far.
Yeah. But you knew what was probably going to happen. I'm a realist in life, Kevin. Ideally you think you could come and compete, but realistically you knew it was going to be a tough time.
Backside counter dropped for about a loss of 1 or 2. And it'll be 3rd and long once again with 4 minutes to go here in the ballgame.
And see, that kid right there had a chance to break that open, but he just stopped and allowed the West Columbus defense to corral around him and throw him back for a loss.
Gang tackling, always important. And one thing I'm seeing West Columbus do better this week, Brett, than I've seen them do in the past couple of weeks, and better than we've seen in a lot of games this year, is they're putting hats on people instead of reaching and grabbing.
Yeah, if that's one thing I can say that West Columbus did tonight, they brought the heat with the tackles tonight.
3rd and 12 for South Creek. The Cougars moving from right to left. Quarterback keeper.
There's that call. Ooh. It's got to be a face mask.
Helmet comes off, but I don't see Wandry on the field, Brett. And I think the South Creek fans are wondering what you're wondering.
Yeah. I mean, his helmet was ripped off. I don't think he ripped it off himself, so evidently it had to be. And, even if you tackle somebody by the helmet, that's still a face mask.
I guess we'll call that a loose chin strap, Brett.
Maybe so. Maybe it just flew off because of the
contact made knocked the helmet loose.
The inertia caused that to happen.
Great word.
Yeah, inertia. Yeah, baby. That's back from my science days.
Brett and I look to be back. We have to talk to Kelly Jones and the great folks at Columbus County Schools and CCCA for action next week, possibly here, at Viking Stadium. Not
Yeah.
sure. I think East would be away again
Yeah.
still.
East would be away, and I'm probably not going to travel that far, Kevin.
Okay.
Probably not going to go 2 hours to do this because my gas per diem only goes above like half a mile.
I get paid in funnel cake and fried Oreos and sausage dogs, and that is not going to get me very far down the road.
And nacho. I gave you
And
some
nachos,
nachos
definitely
tonight.
nachos.
Yeah. In case you're wondering, I do hook Kevin Tobin up with drinks and food and stuff like that because
You're trying to fatten me up. Don't think I haven't noticed, Brett. With Thanksgiving coming, should I be nervous?
no, like I said, just got to feed the machine, man.
But at this rate, the machine's going to break down.
Yep.
I think I'm one heart attack or stroke away from Brett doing play-by-play, and I think that's what he's eyeing here.
Well,
Under 2 minutes to go here in the ball game.
if you check out early, I'm checking out too.
Okay,
I'll tell you that.
it's going to be you on play-by-play with Matt Gore doing the color commentary.
I'm gonna retire with you, man. Here we go. 1 minute, 30 seconds left. 47-0. West Columbus is gonna move on to the second round.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's a 47-point play in the playbook.
No, but
Quarterback tries to get around the right side, corralled by a
I've always
shipload
thought
of Vikings.
shipload of Vikings. That's right.
Per Franklin Davis, he says it's okay.
Boatload of Vikings.
No,
Did he say a shipload was okay?
He said shipload is okay,
Okay.
and a boatload is historically incorrect.
I thought so because the Vikings had ships, not boats.
Correct.
See, I was right.
So if it sounds like we're saying something else, then you guys are just about as dirty as
Well,
mine as the rest of us.
Kevin, there's probably not many people out there listening now up 47-0 with 46 seconds left. But, hey, is what it is. They may be listening just to hear what we say.
We're up past our bedtime, so God only knows what's going to come out of our mouth, folks, with 36 seconds to go. Brett and I hoping to get a chance to do this one more time this year before we get into basketball season.
And I do want to give a shout-out to my youngest, Trinity. She turns 1 tomorrow. So we're excited
Absolutely.
about
Happy
that.
birthday, Miss Trinity. We're so proud of y'all. 1 year old, a big birthday.
That's exactly right. Oh, that's got to be a
Now,
face
that's a
mask.
face mask.
Nah, they said forget it. We're going to the house.
Yeah. This is, let's get to the house.
The checks are signed. Let's go to Bojangles.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the folks from South Creek right now could take the face mask, or they can say, you know what? Let's find out where the nearest place is to eat, and let's get 200 miles down the road.
I did talk to the coach's wife. She said she finished 2 chapters in her book during the game. So
God bless her.
there we go.
West Columbus, our victors, 47-0, headed on to the second round. And who are they going to face, Brett?
I couldn't tell you.
The
You
winner.
didn't tell me to study that. Franklin told you.
Franklin would know.
She can't remember.
Exactly.
Looks like we got a South Creek guy, probably a senior out there. Just it's his last game. And I feel for the kid there. He's you're looking at your future when you do that, Kevin. When you lose your
I can
last
tell
game,
you as a former
it's
player,
tough.
Brett, taking those shoulder pads off for the last time is the loneliest feeling,
Yep.
other than a few other feelings you're going to feel in your lifetime.
Yep.
Because you grow up playing this game and love this game and knowing you're not going to be able to put those shoulder pads on again and stuff.
Yeah, it is tough. It is tough, and I just see that kid kneeling down and knowing this is his last game.
And credit the West Columbus kid for going over there and and shaking him up.
Yeah.
That's great
Yeah.
sportsmanship, and that's something Lamont Williamson and his coaching staff can be proud of. Because look at these West Columbus kids coming over and showing some love.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what it's all about.
That
there,
is
Kevin.
what high school sports is about, Brett.
Yeah, it would be great if we were live video. Kid from South Creek, probably a senior, distraught, goes over there by himself, and West Columbus comes
And the West
gives him a
Columbus
hand.
kids going over and talking to the South Creek coaching staff and shaking them up.
Yeah.
Credit the young man, and that's what Lamont Williamson and his coaching staff have brought to West Columbus the last several years.
But now it's time to celebrate, Kevin.
Yeah.
Just don't get hurt celebrating.
I've seen stranger things happen, Brett.
I've seen a couple of flips and all kinds of stuff, but West Columbus, well deserved. They do move on to the second round of the playoffs. Again, we'll be here at
Good
West
Lord
Columbus. Yeah, we'll be here, and they will be here. We'll see if we're going to be here, but exciting for West Columbus and exciting for this community, and
this is honestly, if you look at West Columbus, Brett, they won first round last year. They lost in the second round, and realistically, getting the opportunity to take that next step forward in their evolution and their growth.
Yeah.
Next week's going to be a big ball game if you're a Viking.
Yeah, well, if they can't win it next week, they won't consider their season successful. So all week they're going to be focused on, the game that they're going to play at hand, and the coaching staff will get them ready. And I'm excited to see what happens next weekend.
And I'll tell you, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. As a team, as a program, as a player, you want to take that one more step than you took the year before.
Yep. And sorry about that. But yeah, and like I said, this is West Columbus's time. This is the Columbus County team that is the premier team right now, and they're getting all the accolades, and it's well deserved.
Again, if you can't overstate it, Brett. It's a great time to be a Viking and a Viking fan. You took your lumps for several years, and nice to see this Viking program really start to, power up. 4 or 5 years ago, this would be unthinkable. They got a new coaching staff in and really built from the ground up, got the kids out to play from both Evergreen and Chadbourne and Sarah Gorda and Fair Bluff and put the effort into a youth program. And you can see the growth in this West Columbus program over the last several years.
Yep. And like I said, keep your ears open. We may go live again next week on this same station, so we can't promise it, but we'll let you know.
Okay, for Brett Burris, this is Kevin Toman saying we'll hopefully see you next week on the campus of West Columbus High School on 89.9 WZCO. We'd like to give a great shout-out to Kelly Jones and Constance Falk and the great folks at CCCA allowing us to broadcast and be a part of such a great team each and every week. So we look forward to seeing you next week on 89.9 WZCO.